Right, now, I must stress that I don't make these sort of videos, but I feel 7 games in the Premier League, I think it should be about the right time to make these sort of vids. So I just come back off from watching the Leeds and Spurs game where we lost 2-1. And quite frankly, I just want to make this video because I got some things I want to get off my chest whilst I can. I'm not expecting any of you to agree with what I say, it's just things that I feel like I discovered during our time in the Prem so far. And mind you, the fact we lost 2-1 against a team like Spurs with Thomas Frank in charge, it doesn't really disappoint me. It's just the fact that we have possession of the ball like so much. Like even Farker said in his interview after the game, he said, "Oh, I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of us. We had a lot of possession, but just because you have a lot of possession doesn't mean you have the right to win the game. It's how you use the possession up. You know, it's how you use the ball when you get it. You know, you can have like 99% possession, but then you end up drawing because you don't give the ball away at all. It's just a really unfortunate game to watch because both goals we conceded were deflected and we can't really help that. There's nothing you can do about that. So yeah, it'd be unfair to have a pop at the team in general for conceding those sort of goals, but I'm not just basing this video on the Spurs game. I'm basing it on the other games that we lost or dropped points in the past couple of months or whatever since the league started. So I see it game in, game out, and it's getting too repetitive and it doesn't seem to be working. So here's what I believe. Unpopular opinion to begin with. Brendan Aronson is not actually that good. Now hear me out. He's a hard worker. Right, I can vouch for that. But it's very hard to, every time I saw him get the ball, he always got tackled. Might have been a couple of passes, yeah, fair enough, but we didn't do much with it afterwards. But then when Aronson gets the ball, he tries dribbling past people, it never works. Well, it worked once when he got tackled, when he did like a roulette thing, but then that's all he did. I feel like if it was me, I'd probably start Tanaka and probably bring Aronson on in the second half or something. I might switch them two over. Rather than having Aronson starting and Tanaka on the bench, I'll have them switch roles. I guess you can say have Tanaka start and then Aronson on the bench. But yeah, I'm not liking the type of football that we play. It's like we get the ball from defence, we pass it to midfield, they can make a dash in the gap. There's two players, opposition players, who are probably wider than that, on a different ratio. But then you got these two players here. There's a Leaf player who just dash through there. I mean, sometimes they go for it, but then they just stop and then pass it backwards again. It's for fuck's sake, go forward. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, just why is he starting? I don't know what Farker sees in him. Okay, he might have been good for Everton and stuff, and he might look promising when we first signed him, but he's just not done much. He scored a head against Wolves, big whoop. If it was me, I would stick Piroe on first, and then if worst comes to worst, bring Calvert-Lewin on, or maybe bring Mecca, how do you say his name? The one who scored a penalty against Everton in the first game. I'm not too sure myself if Piroe's been injured recently or anything, hence why he's not been playing much games as of late. I mean, he got brought on against Spurs, and he had a shot on target in 10 or 15 minutes of coming on. He's done more than Calvert-Lewin has done in the whole game. Calvert-Lewin had this one chance where, he had a goal scoring opportunity. He was technically 1-1 on the keeper for a bit, and then he started to walk with the ball and then decided to sky it over the bar. So yeah, quality striker. If it was me, I'd definitely bring Piroe on, or I would definitely have Piroe starting. You could argue, Calvert-Lewin's only just joined us, he's probably just trying to develop himself more into the team, he's trying to bond more with the players, he's trying to get the chemistry and everything, which I get, but then why not just have, these are Premier League games where, if we keep losing and we keep dropping points, we're going to go back down again without hesitation. But you got players like Piroe, who was, when we were in the Championship last season, he was the top scorer, not for the team, but for the whole league. When you got a goal-scoring machine like Piroe on the bench, and you don't decide to bring him on until the 80th minute or something, and then what's the fucking point? I mean, we're talking about someone who's had experience of scoring goals, and scoring a shitload of goals, put it that way, in a single season, and who's someone who's been at Leeds for a good couple of seasons in general, so someone who's already been at Leeds for a fair bit, over someone like Calvert-Lewin, who we just signed a couple of months ago. It's who would you rather have playing? I mean, I know you got Calvert-Lewin, who is probably really good for Everton and scored a lot of goals for them, but the fact he's only just moved over to us and seeing how he's playing at the moment, he's very sluggish on the ball, he struggles to score in one-on-one opportunities, it seems like a waste of a striker position. We got a couple of attackers on the bench who could easily fill in for Calvert-Lewin, and they both came on at the same time, Piroe and Mecca. So I want to have them two start, or maybe have Piroe start and bring Piroe on for Mecca later on in the game, rather than having Calvert-Lewin coming on and playing, because he's not impressed me. Honestly, like, he's like Aronson. They're not really impressed me, like, in these Premier League games that we've had so far. There's not an awful lot I can think of in the sense of they're like the two main things I can think of that I've noticed in our last several games where we drop points, and we need to get out of that habit, especially against Fulham. Like, I mean, I know it's not really our fault we score an own goal like that, but it's really unfortunate. But we still drop points. We could have got like just the 1 point, but we ended up with 0 and gave Fulham 3 to the point they could easily overtaken us at the time. And like the Bournemouth game, like, we conceded a stupid, like, that Bournemouth game was a pain to watch. Like, as good as we were and how much of a better side we were compared to Bournemouth, we still lost. No, we didn't lose. Well, we didn't win when we easily could have done, because, you know, we were 2-1 up in the second half at some point. Was it second half? Yeah, it was when Longstaff scored that beautiful, sexy volley. That happened early on in the second half, and we kept the lead very well, like, from then on. But then the second stoppage time appears, that's when we start to crumble, and that's when we drop points, because Bournemouth got a really good volley, like, credit to them for that. But then, like, our defence status in that situation, it's just like, you know, of everything that could have happened at that time, we concede, and we drop 2 points for that. You know, I just feel like I think we relax too much, in the sense of when we're winning, we become too relaxed in the second half, like in the ending stage. Yeah, that makes sense. We concede first a lot, but then we always manage to find a way to equalise. You know, we up our game up, you know, when we concede, and then we score the equaliser, and we're a bit more relaxed. We score another goal to make it 2-1, and then we're even more relaxed. Like, we're not going to stop dropping points unless we get at least 2 goals ahead of our opponents, because, like, when we played Wolves like a few weeks ago, you know, we were 3-1 up at half time, and that was like the good time to relax, because even if Wolves scored to make it 3-2, we were still winning. You know, we need to be more than 2 goals ahead at least if we have a chance of winning games and staying up for next season. And it's like, when I mentioned earlier about when Farke brought the subs on for our game with Spurs, like, everyone saw Calvert-Lewin got injured. Well, not injured, but, you know, he was limping in the first half, and I can't remember whether that was before or after he did a conversion. You know, he skyrocketed the ball over the bar in the penalty box for no reason. But regardless, like, if that was me, I would instantly brought Piroe on at that time. I wouldn't wait till the 70th minute or whatever to start bringing subs on. As good as we might be, I feel Farke needs to bring on subs a tad bit sooner. Especially if we're in a situation where we could drop points or not get any points, you know what I mean? Like, if we're losing, bring subs on sooner. If we're drawing, then maybe bring subs on a bit later on. If we're winning, probably don't bring subs on at all, unless in, like, stoppage time. That's just my opinion, so who cares, really? See, that's my take on our Leeds situation. I don't know where we are on the table, but we're not high up at all. I'm pretty sure we're in the bottom half of the table at this current stage. But like I said, if we want to have a chance of staying up, and then I feel Farke needs to make drastic changes, like start Piroe instead of Calvert-Lewin, or just not bring Calvert-Lewin on at all, because, as I said, he was been a bit sluggish in our game against Spurs, and he's been, well, I mean, he has been quite sluggish ever since he joined us. It's only because he scored a header against Wolves. Everyone's like, oh, he's probably getting really good now, or he might actually score more goals for us, but that's not the case. And I know this is like 7 games in, so, you know, 2 months into the league. We're not even halfway there yet, so we probably shouldn't shit ourselves as much, or I shouldn't anyway. Like I said, if we've got a chance of staying up in our future games, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe Daniel Farke needs to reassess his team and maybe have different players starting. I don't know. Like I said, that's my take on it. Just want to get it off my chest. I'm glad I have, because I've had like the same feeling for like the past 2 or 3 games, and like maybe after 2 games is bad enough, but then to say it's from 3 games now, it's like it's getting a bit too repetitive, and we're still dropping points unnecessarily. So I don't know. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to watch this. I'm sorry as well if the title's a bit hasty or, you know, a bit aggressive sounding, but I don't know what to call it, to be fair. So yeah, thanks for watching again, and yeah, go on, please, Leeds, just win for fuck's sake.